Welcome into a new edition of the Holton Ahlers Show. On this episode, I'm really excited about it. So we have a legendary voice in Pirate Nation and also my father. Dad, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me in. I'm glad that the first guy, second guy, third guy, fourth guy couldn't make it. And
No, we've talked about
we talked
you
about
having-
it the other day. We did.
I want to get into kind of your career a little bit, and then we'll just kind of talk. But you said you're at 35 years of basketball.
This will
announcing
be
basketball.
season number 35, yes.
Holy, so almost 40 years. You've seen some good basketball over the years.
And I've seen some pretty crappy basketball. But I think this year could be really fun. Last year was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
I think this year will be really cool.
Yeah, we went to, because obviously the tournament is in Fort Worth, so we went. That was really fun. Actually, RJ Felton's extremely fun to watch, someone who's been on the show. And then kind of seeing him go to the NBA is really one of the first NBA guys that ECU's had out of ECU. We've had some transfers go on, but it's been fun watching that. How is your, you've had a different point of view of it, and we'll start with basketball and then obviously go to football too, but your point of view of you got to stay calm when there's highs and lows, but also just being there every single night. There's so many games. How has that been over the years?
It's been a lot of fun. I can remember going back, I was doing morning radio with the station here in Greenville, and Jim Bass, who was the associate AD at the time in charge of marketing, and Matt Maloney was literally his first week here at East Carolina. They got
insane.
together with myself and Jeff Diamond, who at the time he and I were doing the morning show together, and said they were going to make a change in basketball and wanted me to do the men's and him to do the ladies' games. And would we be interested? They wanted to bring some more excitement. And at the time, the Chicago Bulls were making, a big part of their run and gearing up. And their announcer was, "And now," and that's what they kind of wanted. And been doing it ever since. It's been a lot of fun. And sometimes it gets frustrating over the years, but met a lot of great people, watched a lot of great players. You saw David Robinson came in, has played in Greenville. Dwayne Wade a couple of times, and there's been some really good NBA players. And maybe the best game that nobody ever saw was, I think it was when Joe Dooley was here for the first time. They had word of mouth played Mount Zion, I believe that was right, in a closed game because they couldn't allow people to come in and watch it. And these basically were basketball factories. They had guys come in, they would go to high school and play basketball, and there might be 35 people in the whole high school, and all of them were associated with basketball. And Amari Stoudemire was a freshman.
What?
Who, was a really good player in the NBA, Hall of Famer, and maybe the best player on the court. And they had probably 7 or 8 guys that played in the NBA that year.
They were high school?
They were high school players. And I got to do the PA for that. And there was an older gentleman that was doing the scorebook for word of mouth, I think, at the time. It was Mount Zion. And he said, "Watch that boy out there." I said, "Which one?" He says, whatever number he was wearing. He said, "He's a freshman, best player on the court. First time down the court, he left from just inside the free throw line and 2-hand dunked it." I went, "Okay, you're right." He
was Amari Stoudemire?
Amari Stoudemire, yeah.
What? I've never heard that story.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Dang. I know over the years, it has been, ECU basketball isn't historically amazing. So, how have you must enjoy it that much to just stay with it? Have you ever thought about?
I played in high school, played at Mount Olive, was supposed to play here at East Carolina.
Yeah.
Bad knees, wouldn't get cleared, so I met pizza and got fat and happy and got married and had kids.
Yeah.
So, no, but, I love basketball and love football. Would never miss a football game ever since I started coming here, and had the chance to take that over. John Thompson's the last couple of games of John Thompson's final year.
You've been there since.
Been there ever since. Yeah, saw met some really good people, and it's the people. You know this.
Yeah.
And, and you and Grace got married this year. And I'm just going to juggle around a little bit, but it's the people thing. When you guys got married, you had 20-something of your teammates at your wedding. It's a people thing. You meet really good people, and you have some lifelong friendships, and. Whether some coaches made it here and were successful, or they weren't.
Yeah,
you get to know them, you get to know their families and that kind of thing, and it's really neat. And some of the players that come back now, and you're still here, yeah, I'm still here. I'm retired now. I'm not.
You talk about meeting people. I remember growing up, Willie was someone Uncle Willie. We called him, and he coached at ECU.
Willie Scott was a tight ends coach here. Yeah.
What are some relationships with coaches you've made like him over the years that has just like literally stemmed from you being involved and around?
Well, basketball, Joe Dooley
Yeah.
was here. Still a good friend to this day. I'll text him 2 or 3. He wants us to come to Kansas.
Yeah.
When you coming to Kansas? Bill Herrion when he was here. Coach Mac McCarthy's a really good guy.
Yeah.
Then you got some players that come through here. Ronell Peterson, Lester Lyons, some of the guys. Blue Edwards. And I didn't call Blue's game when he was here. He was at Lewisburg, then he played here, then he played with the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
But I remember when he was with the Jazz, they came and actually had a preseason scrimmage game here in Williams Arena. It wasn't even in Minges. It was Minges Coliseum at the time. They had a preseason scrimmage, and that was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
To see them play. Yeah.
And then I want to know like your process of a shift to football now, because like that's obviously a bigger crowd and stuff like that. Like you're doing basketball for a while, you switch to football, or switch to football. You start doing football too. How was the process like of transitioning to that and like a bigger audience? Like you got to know more players. Like how was that transition?
Not as hard as you would think. I mean, the first time I started doing it, I literally found out like Thursday they needed somebody to fill in, and when you do a basketball game, you do a football game at East Carolina, you have a notebook they give you, and that has all the reads on it. And I've been blessed that I can pretty much read something and
when you say about reads, is that just like
a commercial, for instance? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dowdy Fickle Stadium, home of your East Carolina Pirates. Blah 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 blah. And do those kind of reads. It's like a scripted commercial or a scripted segment. And everything that East Carolina has is timed out, except with the exception of the game itself.
Meaning you don't do that, though?
As far as scripting it out, no, I don't. I'll get it maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, and then the final version will come out maybe Friday, and I'll look over it. From a player standpoint, I usually get up there about an hour, hour and a half before the game and start going over the players. Brigham Young, it's a little bit different. I've actually started typing an email last night to the SID saying, "Can you send me a pronunciation guide?" Because Tua to Mokalaka. There's the big Samoan heritage at Brigham Young, and I'm going to get. I pride myself in trying to get the names right.
Yeah.
If I screw it up once, fine, but I'll try to get it right the second time. I do my best. And I remember one basketball game, we had the Czechoslovakian national team come in. And these guys had been on the road this is their last game, preseason game, back when they could do that.
Yeah.
And this is their last game. It was like their 10th game in 15 days. They're traveling. And I'm like, I see these names, and I ask the coach, I say, how do you say these names? He says, doesn't matter. All they want shower and food. I'm like, okay. And they really didn't. They literally played basketball, wanted a hot shower and a good meal. That's all they wanted.
This podcast is brought to you by Anson Belt. Over 10,000 combinations of micro-adjustable holeless belt. The number one belt of the Holton Ahlers Show. The number one belt of Pirate Nation. Look, they got Jolly Roger. They got purple belts. It's perfect for game day. Go check it out before game day gets here. You can order it at ansonbelt.com. Appreciate you guys for supporting the pod. Your football, like you've been doing them both forever, but football's like, I mean, you've had some really good years doing that, and you've experienced that. And then obviously I started to get, recruited, got offered by ECU early by Ruff, your good friend.
Yeah.
And then got recruited by a bunch of other schools. How was the process of that? And like, I already kind of know, but like, just for the podcast purpose of like saying, okay, yes, I'm a fan of ECU. I went to ECU. All of that, but like also like we got to give everyone an equal playing field.
Well, you went to a lot of different schools and visited.
Yeah.
You and I went, for instance, when Ruff was at Virginia, we went up there and had
Kurt was there too.
Kurt,
yeah.
Bless his heart. I remember that conversation, because the spring before we went there, he was still here. He hadn't announced his transfer yet.
Yeah.
And Scotty Montgomery, that was his first spring in spring football. And we sat at the table with Kurt, and he was like, East Carolina's a great school. I love it, and you need to come here. It's it's great. And then the next week he transfers. He announced he's leaving. And then we see him in Virginia, and we're talking, man. He said, man, I want to apologize. He says, I knew I was leaving, but I had a job to do, and, please understand that's what it's all about. And, he was real cool about that. But from a recruiting standpoint, I remember, and if you can remember, I told you that you got to go wherever you're going to go. You got to go for the school.
Yep.
Because from a coaching standpoint, coaches do come and go.
And we knew, especially ECU, that.
Yeah, I mean that's unfortunately the nature of the beast sometimes. And you had a great recruiting relationship, and I think you still got a good relationship with Coach Dorn at NC State.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me, I think it was early January, going into your senior year, where you wanted to commit to East Carolina. And I said, fine. I said, but make sure that's where you want to go. I didn't talk. I didn't talk you into it.
No, you didn't. Yeah.
If I did anything, I tried to talk you out of it.
Yeah.
And to make sure that's what you wanted to do, not what your friends wanted you to do, or your family, but what you wanted to do, because you're the one that had to play.
Yeah.
And people always ask me, what would have happened if Holton would have gone to NC State? I'd have been wearing red and white.
Was you just kept announcing at ECU?
No.
You couldn't have?
No, I wouldn't have. I'd have been done.
Dang.
Yep, I would have been done. But that was, you chose to stay here in Greenville.
Yeah.
And you made the announcement at Conley. A bunch of people were there, and you can still find the thing online. It was a very cool moment.
Yeah. When you, obviously when I got there, like I played early, how was the process of like, you'd done it for, I don't know, 18 years then at that point? Like you've obviously mastered what you say and all that, but like also then it's like a new thing of like emotions of me playing, you cheering for me, but you still can't. When I get hurt, you still got to keep announcing. Like, how's that?
That was tough. That was kind of tough. The cheering part of it, I still there's video. I think Weaver took the video of you scoring your first touchdown, which I've got it saved, and that's one of my favorite things to have in memory. The hard part was when you would go down.
Yeah.
My first thing in my, because you don't announce if a player goes down. I always make it a conscious effort. They don't play music. Don't say anything. I don't do any reads, even if they go to an ESPN commercial or whatever. You wait until the player gets up, then I acknowledge, ladies and gentlemen, number 12, Holton Ahlers, or number 87, John Smith for the other team. It's just a courtesy and, hoping the guy's all right.
The boys at the Holton Ahlers Show love good barbecue, and we also love a good cause. That's why we love Sam Jones Barbecue. Now until November 10th, make sure you go to Sam Jones Barbecue. And when you go, do us a favor and do Eastern North Carolina a favor and round up on your total. They're trying to grant 2 wishes for Eastern North Carolina. Make a wish by November 10th, their 10-year anniversary. A typical wish costs about $7,500. You're trying to get 2 of those by November 10th. Do Eastern North Carolina a favor, do Sam Jones a favor, and do us, the Holton Ahlers Show, a favor and round up to support a good cause and go eat you some good barbecue.
But every time you would go down, especially your last year, because you went down a lot, with your shoulder, would pop out. I think it would pop out 7 or 8 times during the games that year. And you missed 1 play, which is amazing to me. And people don't realize how banged up you really were.
No, I know.
But get up. I mean, the one time, you go on the road, and I've told you this, at home, things happen. I can call the play. I see what happens. I can get emotional, get happy, arg, and all that stuff. Then I have to start doing something else. My brain has to shift. Okay, I've got to read this.
Yeah.
Then on the road, it was so much harder because all I had to do was watch the game. And I remember, I think it was your last year against Cincinnati. We're on the road at Cincinnati, and where we were sitting our section was right behind the medical tent. And you threw a pass and took 2 or 3 steps, took your helmet off, waved at the crowd, and somebody then hit you. I mean, it was a blatant late hit that they never called.
Yeah. And
your shoulder went out. And you came over, and the way you were holding it, that was maybe one of the hardest things to watch because I didn't know if it was your shoulder, if it was your elbow, because you were really.
I still feel it.
You were really hunched over that day.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then Dr. Hasty came out. A few, you went in because it was 3rd down. That would have been a 1st down, and it kept the drive alive. And then you went in the tent. You were still in there. Dr. Hasty came out, and he said he's going to be okay. We popped it back in. Okay. Then you walk out and you get on the phone like nothing's happening. Don't look up and say, hey, I'm okay. Give me a thumbs up. It's like, really? But no, I felt for you every time that happened. And I just don't know how you did it. But that's,
Yeah. Sometimes me neither. I honestly forgot that my shoulder popped out that game. So thanks
Well, that was that play. I remember I think you were rolling to your left, being left-handed, and literally threw a great pass. And it fell incomplete or was dry. I think it was dropped, and you had taken 3 steps, and then somebody just drilled you, and you did the same thing. You landed on your
Right
elbow,
side,
and it throws your
Oh,
shoulder
yeah.
up. So, yeah.
Remember something I want to talk about, because I mean, those conversations that we had to have was after the state game, my senior year. I about said freshman year, senior year, when I messed up my shoulder big time. Like there was a conversation, a very brief conversation, but like there was an option of me medical redshirting and coming back the next year, and it was like immediately I was like, no, we're not doing that. Like I'm just gonna suck it up, and because then the trainers just talking about the shoulder, the trainers like, all right, well then you at least got to miss non-conference. Like no, I'm not. It's whatever. I'm playing. We'll be fine. And just going through that, like the injuries thing was probably the hardest thing, but also like I don't know, something I like took pride in was not missing games, like no matter what. It was like, okay, it's my right shoulder, like throw the left, and I'll be fine.
And that's what you and I did have that conversation. We
Yeah.
talked about it, your family and mom and everything. And
Thing about the Holton Ahlers show is we love to eat, and that's why we already have Sam Jones as a sponsor, and that's why we have a new sponsor, Jersey Mike's. Make sure you go to Jersey Mike's. I mean, look, you can get the grill. Anything on the grill is actually fire, by the way. They used to cater for ECU football. Caden will attest for that, and it was some of the best subs ever. I love the chicken cheese steak. Club sub's always a good one. I'm a big guy. I go for the giant, but no matter what you like, go to Jersey Mike's. They have the best subs, a sub above.
if you watch your highlights, when everybody shows your highlights, they always show that run against NC State.
Yeah, I know it's terrible. I don't know why.
But it's a great run.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it until the end that that's the play that your shoulder came out, because you literally landed on your right elbow and it just popped your shoulder out.
Yeah.
And you wore a brace the rest of the time, and it kept it in. Imagine if you didn't have that brace on, what would have happened?
It kept it in sometimes.
Yeah.
It's still
It popped out some. But again, your pain threshold's way up there. So.
Yeah. No, for sure. And just, I don't know, just something about like, especially my senior year, it was like those guys were the guys that I went in with. And like, I remember thinking when they said like medical redshirt, I was like, all these guys will be gone. Like all the guys that I came in with to get to this point will be gone next year. And I don't know how that team will be. And the team ended up going 2-10 the next year. So
there was a lot to be said for that. And I think your friendships that you have, I think those friendships, you guys get together in 30 years.
Yeah,
you're still going to be talking about those days, and the Birmingham Bowl, and celebrating that game, and getting to a bowl game was one thing. You got to a bowl game the year before against Boston College, and I think Peyton and I were actually leaving the day before was when the game was canceled. I believe the day before the game, and we were actually heading out of town, and then Peyton gets a text from you and say, game's been canceled.
That was terrible.
And I'm like, what do you mean the game's been canceled? He said that Holton just said the game's canceled. And we were driving out almost by North Pitt High School. Yeah. So I pulled into North Pitt, I can remember. And I said, have Holton call us now. And you told us.
Terrible,
and that I felt so bad for you guys.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you did qualify for the bowl, and you did get there, and you won the bowl because they quit and they chickened out, and that's okay. But rumor, and again, you were up there the whole time, but I heard from people up there that they knew they weren't going to be able to play.
Yeah, we heard that all week because they just kept having guys opt out for the NFL.
Yes,
supposedly, and we're just like, well, I mean, we're playing. Like there's no one opting out for us. Like we haven't been here in 10 years. We're obviously playing. And then it was just, I don't know, it was just weird because like we were about to go. We like had a team meeting to go take pictures, like because you take a picture before the day before the bowl game, and we were going to take like our team picture at the stadium. And Coach Houston walked in, and you were just like, we're like, what's going on with his? Like, why is he down? I mean, it was like the day before. It was 2 days after Christmas, or excuse me. And he was like, guys, like. They backed out, like the game's done. And I just remember we had Bruce Bivens last week on, and for some reason, I don't know why, but I remember Bruce's face of just because he was a 5th year, maybe 6th year at that time.
Yeah, he was done. That was his last year.
And like Sean Bailey and all those guys, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like they were just distraught. And like I was too, because he was like, holy cow, we finally got here and we didn't really get here. And so like by that time, I'd already decided to come back, but like there was conversations 2 weeks before as if I was even going to come back for a 5th year, but with COVID and all that year really was a wash. So we decided to come back. So yeah, that was just it was a weird time.
And then you guys get to Birmingham.
Yeah.
And you finish the mission, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that was very special. And I remember you and Sean hugging. You know,
Yeah.
Sean was a strength
Yeah,
coach
yeah.
at that year, and that was pretty cool. I remember that.
Yeah,
And,
that was cool.
you know, that was cold night, but it was a memorable night.
It wasn't cold for me. You talked about just like obviously those memories and like the great memories of that. What are your, excluding me, my playing years, what are your like top couple memories as an announcer, like games you've announced? And
East Carolina, when we played Houston here to win the conference championship.
yeah,
I thought that was really in Conference USA. That was real special. Skip Shear, they had a lot of great players on that team. You know, calling some of the special plays and special players, the Isaiah Jones, and you got Dwayne Harris and Shane Carden and Justin Hardy. You know, and it's good to see Shane and Justin
yeah,
get in there, and Dwayne this year in the Hall of
that's
Fame.
cool.
That's really well deserved. Seeing some of those guys play in football, and you know, some of the local guys that have played over the years. I mean, you know, you talk about the guys that I know personally. You know, they might not get in but one play a game, but if they got in, I was going to make sure they had to put emphasis on their name. You know, and
Like
you know,
Jack, I remember my senior year, Jack Powers.
Powers. You know, but yeah, just I have fun like that every once in a while. And Curtis Struck, who played here when I was in school, he went to East Carteret. I went to West Carteret, and now he's on the board of trustees. His son CJ
Yeah.
played. And I always told, you know, if I got a chance to really hype up CJ, of course he was a center, so you only got to hype him up with so much. Generally, it was during his starting lineups. You know, I always tried to do that for him, and you know, things like that make it fun.
So you're coming up on your 35th year of
Basketball
and 22nd year of football. How much longer do you think you'll do it?
They haven't fired me yet. They tried. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. Maybe get 40 in basketball.
Ooh,
that
what
would
about football?
Well, if I'm still, I don't know. Still do it, maybe 30 for football. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Thanks for joining. It was a good podcast.
Thank you. It's the Holton Ahlers Show.